I support having a tough border. I support inflicting pain. I mainly support, by the way, something that seems to be escaping both parties, which is if you touch an American, we will inflict pain on you for generations.
I swear, Alex Karp is insane in the best way possible and has some of the most hilarious and best quotes for my thumbnails. And in this interview I'm about to show you, in classic Karp fashion, he describes why he believes Palantir was able to make it into the S&P 500, and why in general he believes that Palantir has been so successful over the last few years. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get into it.
Dr. Alex Karp, CEO and co-founder of Palantir. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Very happy to be here.
All right, so Sarah mentioned, beautiful background here. We're at AIPCon. This is where your customers, they come and they talk about working with your software, AIP. That's going to include BP, a new customer, also AT&T, a longtime customer, talking for the first time. So a big day and also a big month. You're joining the S&P. Your company, previously kind of mysterious, private for about 17 years. Now you're going to be in the S&P. You're going to be added to millions of 401ks. How does that feel for you as a founder? What does that mean for the company?
Well, yeah, it's been a long ride. I've been at this together with other Palantirians for almost 20 years. And, you know, we believed that we could build a company that would make America and its allies stronger, better, more intelligent, more agile, wealthier. And we took a lot of positions that looked outside the norm. Some people said batshit crazy, like America is good, the West is good, we should fight for meritocracy. We can make industry in America dominant, not apologize for being the best and greatest country in the world, our allies around the world. Actually, the most radical thing we ever did was build software that actually was fully aligned with our customers, with our partners, whether they be military or commercial. The way you were told to build a software company was stay away from government at all costs, because that might help somebody. Build software that makes customers feel like they're being pleasured while they're being screwed. We never did that, and we stood by our values, and I'm really proud of Palantirians and our supporters. And it's an incredible ride.
Let's dig into the software. So we're here at AIPCon for your software, AIP. You've been on the record that right now, only two things matter, chips and ontology, all right? So you don't make chips. What's ontology? You've been out talking about ontology, kind of preaching about it. How does it relate to enterprise customers and the use of AI?
So AI is a mysterious revolution. People basically have it wrong. They think all the values in the large language models. Large language models are like hydrocarbons in the ground. They need to be processed. If you're going to do something beyond chat, something that is crucial for the business, like bringing hydrocarbons out of the ground, or actually in the government context, monitoring troops, figuring out how to kill your adversary while staying alive, that raw knowledge has to be processed and put in your system, in the logic of your system, and in the security model of your system at the cost your system wants to pay for a particular kind of model. So long story short, that hydrocarbon-like LLM is essentially worthless to your business without the processing capabilities, right, both in the ontology and in Foundry. And we believed this 5 years ago. We figured this out, by the way, by doing work for the U.S. government. Some of that work is going to be presented today. Right. So if you want to really kill your adversary on the battlefield or change the economics of your business, you need a way of processing the raw resources.
So commercial customers, that's the growth engine of the company. It's doubled since you launched AIP, but you're talking about your military business. Presidential debate this week, two very different candidates. You've been on the record saying it doesn't matter who the president is, but during the debate, we saw President Trump, he didn't seem committed to the war in Ukraine. You previously worked with ICE. We could see changes in immigration policy. Does this election actually matter for the company now?
Well, look, it matters for America. We are a company that embodies people that support both President Trump and Vice President Harris. I'm kind of historically been an unhappy, kind of radical Democrat. I still am. I support having a tough border. I support inflicting pain. I mainly support, by the way, something that seems to be escaping both parties, which is if you touch an American, we will inflict pain on you for generations. That should be the U.S. policy. Whether that happens in Gaza, whether that happens in Ukraine, wherever that happens, you cannot touch America. From a business perspective, we've done well under both parties. Our products are superior. We stand by their superiority, and both parties recognize that we have the best products.
All right, so we've mentioned incredible stock growth. Looks like you get another boost from joining the S&P. What contracts do you think that Palantir needs, whether it's government work or commercial work? What contracts are you still out there looking to obtain to kind of prove that AIP, your software, is the best in the world, which I know we talked a year ago. You said you were setting out to do that.
We're not interested in we show, we don't tell. We believe, our customers, we have 111 partners presenting who believe our products are valuable to them, in some cases transformative to them. We are very focused on product innovation. Part of what AI does is allows you to innovate quicker, and if you have distribution, distribute that innovation quicker. So our main goal is to accelerate product development in all areas: military, manufacturing, government, AI-backed targeting, AI-backed ways of running your business, and then we'll see where we are in a year. My firm belief is Palantir will be 10 times bigger in the future. You know, you've had all these critiques of Palantir. We're the Frankenstein monster. It can't be a product. It's never going to be free cash flow positive. It's never going to be GAAP profitable. It could never get on the S&P. It's clearly very valuable, but it can't be 10 times more valuable. And, you know, our job is to show and not tell, and we are going to show that we can be 10 times bigger than we are now.
So, Alex, Sarah Eisen has a question for you back at the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, thank you. And hi, Alex. It's on the corporate story, which is clearly very exciting for Wall Street. And I know you've announced some new customers like AT&T, and I believe now $1 billion worth of contracts with the oil and gas industry. So, Alex, my question is, I think of Palantir and I think of AI warfare and being able to target your enemies. What are you doing for an AT&T? What are you doing for a gas company that is built on the strength and the business that you have in the federal government?
Well, the products are different, but the baseline way in which you build software, meaning building software that is fully aligned for a complicated customer. So if you take oil and gas or you take AT&T, these are companies with massive investments in architecture. You have to build on top of that, and you have to be able to use algorithms. For example, in the telecommunications, where do you put the wires? What is the most efficient way of having the customer connect to you? How do you do preventive maintenance on the wires? How do you do preventive maintenance on the infrastructure you're building? How do you do the capital allocation so that you can maximize it? These are actually life and death issues for the enterprise, because if you mess that up, you mess up your margins, you mess up the quality of your revenue, and you get disrupted by other competitors. And what Palantir will allow you to do is transform that in a quarter what would have taken you 3-5 years to do. And that's why we have these very loyal, very deep contracts with customers. And by the way, U.S. commercial especially, but also including BP in the UK and other places in the world, is just extraordinarily strong. We've been growing year on year, roughly 70% for 3 quarters. So it's like we are famous for what we've done to help the U.S. and its allies. I'm very proud of that. But, you know, the unknown, somewhat public secret of Palantir is we're just crushing it in U.S. commercial. And that's really important. It's important for Americans. It's important for Palantir.
So, Alex, you and I, we actually sat down in D.C. just about a year ago to the day. You were just coming off that Senate AI forum. You were joined by Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, Elon Musk, a lot of AI heavy hitters like yourself. A lot of talk in there about guardrails, regulation, concrete legislation. We haven't heard that much since then. We even have AI leaders at the White House today. You said, you know, you're aware of it, but you're not even sure if you're really a part of it. What's going on when it comes to AI in our nation? Are we properly prepared for the election, for critical infrastructure? I mean, what's your view?
Look, the thing about AI innovation, broadly defined, so it's really chips, ontology, and large language models, is the people who are innovating are going so much faster than the people who are trying to regulate. America does need regulation. I think you will see Leader Schumer gathering together to get that legislation. My view of it is it should be tailored to the development of large language models and ontology. So the more developed it becomes, the more guardrails we have, not just to protect us against civil liberties violations and election violations, but also, quite frankly, as it gets more and more advanced, to deter our adversaries from getting what we know how to do, the models and the way we manage the models, in civilian and in warfighting context for as long as possible. You can't stop our adversaries forever, but every month, every week makes a huge difference because of the way in which development is going. And I'm pretty confident that's going to happen.
In the AI forum, one of the things you talked about was election security. So we do have an election coming up. Also, we've seen threats to critical infrastructure. When it comes to AI and our ability to protect our nation's critical infrastructure and also the integrity of our election, in your mind, where do we stand?
Well, there's really, like, of course, I would have it. There's 2 parts to defense in cyber. One is you defend the perimeter, and then you understand what's happening inside the perimeter. That's a classic way of doing AI defense. There are huge limits to that because you're kind of behind. But in that context, you have to use AI to fight AI. The most important way we can defend ourselves in this country is just to make it clear to our adversaries there'll be a price for attacking us. The central weakness we have is you get a free ride. You kidnap our people, you kill our people, you murder our people, nothing happens. If you want to stop interference, either kinetic or physical, you have to impose a price, and that price has to be significant and clear. You know, just in general in foreign policy, we need to talk less and act more.
I want to ask very quickly, we have to go. Are you working with the U.S. government when it comes to election security for this election?
Our footprint in the U.S. government is so large. I'm sure we're involved in some aspects of this, but it's hard to know.
All right, Dr. Alex Karp, co-founder and CEO of Palantir. Carl and Sarah, back over to you.